All right, it's Monday morning, so obviously the NFL week is not completely over yet. We still got a Monday night game to play, but I feel like we deep enough into the season, and I did say that I'd give y'all power rankings. That ain't this video, but I feel like we are deep enough into the season that we can kind of, sort of get an idea of what to expect. And the first thing that I wanted to make a point about is that don't none of us know a damn thing about the season, how it's going to unfold. None of us know nothing preseason. Don't none of us know nothing now. Because raise your hand, hand to God, and tell me if you had any combination of the Communists, the Seagulls, and the Aryans at the top of their division. And tell me, hand to God, that you had the Seahawks and the Vikings undefeated. You feel me? And then tell me this: if you had any combination of San Francisco, Baltimore, and Philly barely scraping by with a 1-1 KD ratio. Well, I mean, maybe you did have that for Philly, and I wouldn't blame you. But my point is that it's still too early to really know. Brian Baldinger put it best. I forgot where I saw him say this at. If I could find it, I might put it in here in post-production. But the point that he was making is that everybody needs to calm, just to fall back a little bit. Main reason being that September is the new August. You feel me? In other words, and I said this in the other videos, is that don't nobody play preseason no more. You feel me? Everybody is still knocking off that rush from the summertime. Now, you feel me? Now we're going to start this. I feel like between now and like week 8, now we're going to start to see, you feel me, the real, you feel me, the real pretenders and contenders arise. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the first. And while I'm on that, you feel me, and I keep telling y'all this, and this, I actually, you feel me, when I wrote my notes down, because I do write notes for these videos, believe it or not. This ain't completely from the hip, mostly, but not completely. When I wrote my notes down, you know, I wanted to make the point that, again, every quarterback is ass. You understand? Every quarterback this year, you feel me, is playing like ass. At least compared to, you know, years prior. You know, 350 yards and 3 touchdowns, you feel me. It was expected that at least 10 dudes every week was going to hit that. You feel me? We lucky if somebody breaks 300 yards, you feel me, this in a game, you feel me, this season. But the thing is, and I don't understand why people are acting so surprised, because all we doing is continuing the trend from last year and the year before, to keep it a buck. You understand what I'm saying? If last year, I'll put it like this: if last year was a wagon, this year is a dump truck. You feel me? In terms of the proportion of ass that quarterbacks are playing as. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and, you know, go over the too high thing. Y'all, or at least y'all should, at this point, y'all should understand, you feel me, why too high safeties is the impact that it's had. But the other part of it is, and I've seen a couple of different channels mention this, and I'll mention it as well. Matter of fact, I did a whole video on it last year, is that as ass as QB play is this year, O-line play is even worse. You feel me? Don't nobody know how to pass block. You feel me? And I already talked about that in that video last year, why that is. But don't nobody know how to pass block. So they get to the league and they have to be taught from the ground up. You know, I had I have a boy who who was in the military, who was a Marine, right? And you know, he had never held a gun before until he enlisted. And you know, the first day, I guess, on the shooting portion of basic training or whatever, they asked everybody, they said, how many of y'all have ever held a gun before? You know, all the country boys, you know, they raised their hands, you know, they was real proud. Yeah, you know, get her done. You feel me? And the drill instructor said, y'all gonna be the hardest ones to teach, because before we can teach y'all how to shoot, we got to unlearn all the bad habits that y'all picked up growing up, you feel me, on the farm or wherever you was from. You dig what I'm saying? And that's what you see with a lot of these old linemen coming into the league, is before we can even teach them how to block, we got to unlearn all the bad habits they learned in college, because they spent all that time in spread and whatever and whatnot. They weren't all that time, you know, they weren't dropping back. They weren't kick stepping the way that they have to in the NFL. You understand? They weren't kick stepping, you know, 5 and 7 yards deep into the backfield. You understand? So they just don't know how to do it. And that's because all of the best athletes, you feel me, all the best athletes are edge rushers. You feel me? So you got the combination of, you know, if I'm not, Jared Verse was a tight end in high school, I believe. And he's got like 5 sacks on the season. The Eagles just drafted a boy this draft who was a safety in college. I think like his last year or two of college, he converted to edge. So that's what you got. All the best athletes in the league, you feel me, that are coming into the league, they either play edge, receiver, or corner, because that's where the money is. You understand what I'm saying? If you can't throw the football, the next best way to make a bag in the league, you feel me, is to rush the passer. You dig? So it's a combination of those two things, and then it's this other one that I want to get into, and this is the second thing that I wanted to talk about, is all of the best quarterbacks are young. You feel me? They're all 30 and younger. You feel me? A lot of them are like 26 and younger. You dig what I'm saying? And they're still, in a lot of ways, learning the game. You dig? They're adapting the same way that defenses have adapted to them. They're now learning how to adapt to defenses. Y'all see Patrick Mahomes? It was wild because, you know, you know, I gotta, you know, interject the Eagles into here some way, somehow, right? I feel like, you know, I will still say that, you know, despite the obvious flaws in his game this year, specifically, you know, the turnover problem, outside of Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts is the most overly analyzed and criticized, not even critiqued, over criticized quarterback in the league. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I do think there's a racial component to that, but this ain't that video, this ain't even that channel, so don't worry about it, truckers. You don't have to to confront your own internalized anti-blackness on this channel. You dig what I'm saying? That I did a whole video about that on the other channel. But you know, it's just the way that their style of play is so unorthodox. Even somebody like Josh Allen, right? His game, as much as he uses his legs, his game is still primarily predicated on his throwing ability. You understand what I'm saying? Lamar and Jalen right now are the only two quarterbacks of their caliber where their game is just as predicated on their running ability as it is their ability to pass the football. And a lot of people just don't like that style of play. Regardless of the efficacy of it, they just don't like that style of play. So they find any way, you feel me, to break it down and to take away from it. You feel what I'm saying? But regardless, we gotta have patience, man, but especially with these rookie quarterbacks, man. And I said in the last video, you know, everybody's hopping onto the Jayden Daniels train. I'm hopping onto the Jayden Daniels train to a certain extent, just based on the fact that I did not expect him. Of all of the rookie quarterbacks, I expected. I'm not gonna lie, I expected between Bo Nix and Jayden Daniels to look the best, the earliest on, simply because they have the most experience. They have the most game experience. You feel me? You look at Anthony Richardson, who's effectively a rookie. He had like, what, 15 career starts before he got drafted? And you're seeing, you feel me, the fruits of that now. You dig? We got to be patient with these young boys. We got to be patient with these teams, man, because teams are still figuring out who they are. They're still, especially the ones with new coordinators, man. They still figuring out who they are. They're still figuring out what they do best and all these different. I think back to Jalen's first year as a starter in Philly, and Philly was 2-5 entering the bye. And here's the thing, is as much as, and I get it, because that's how it is over here. That's how it is in Philly. It's either one or two things. It's either the sky is falling or we go into the chip. You feel me? There's no in between. You feel me? With Philly sports fans, there's no in between with Philly sports writers. It's either one or the two. It's either blow the thing up, or, you feel me, we're going to, you know, win back-to-back championships. You understand? More often than not, it's the former. But, you dig, I've lived through Chip Kelly. I lived through the Dream Team in 2011, the Dream Team. I should have took my hands off the steering wheel. You already told me about paying attention while I'm driving. I apologize for that. Any kids watching this, don't follow my example. I am not a role model. Thank you for that, Charles Barkley. But yeah, man, I've lived through Chip. I've lived through Andy Reid's last year. I lived through 2020, man, where, you feel me, Carson just fell off the face of the earth. You understand what I'm saying? So this is nowhere near as bad as things have gotten or can get with the Eagles. But my point in that is that 2-5 entering the bye in 2021, and Philly completely changed their philosophy. You feel me? Instead of, you know, launching the ball, you know, 50, 60 yards downfield on every play, we're going to become the Ravens. You feel me? We're going to become the Ravens, and we're going to use this all-world O-line of ours. We're going to run the ball down your throat, and we're going to dare you to say something about it. And we finished the year 9-8. You feel me? There's a part of me that I don't feel like, you know, that's going to be what's going to happen coming out of the bye this week, because, you know, we have too many skill players for that to just be it. But I do feel like, and not just with Philly, but, you know, I feel like that's going to be the answer for most teams that got sense, is we're going to have to rely on the run game. You feel me? We just going to have to, you know, run the ball down people's throats. If we got to do it with a feature back, or more likely if we're going to do, you know, running back by committee, you feel me? We're going to run the ball down people's throats. You know, I'm not talking about RPO. I'm talking about, if you're doing quarterback runs, I'm talking about, you know, just straight up quarterback power or quarterback draw plays. You feel me? We're going to run the ball down your throat and dare you to do something. And then once you start, you know, sending extra men, you feel me, in the box, then we going to hit you over the top and make you pay for it. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I say that to say we got to be patient, man. And a lot of this is me preaching to the choir. It's me preaching to myself. You understand what I'm saying? Is we got to be patient, you feel me, with these teams. It's only 4 games into the season, man. You know, KC was a mess, right? Kansas City was a mess. Now, granted, Kansas City has Patrick Mahomes, but Kansas City was a mess all the way until like the last, basically into the playoffs. If we just gonna be real about it, and look how that turned out. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, I know we all want to crown, just like I said before, you know, with Buffalo, we want to crown the Bills the September Super Bowl champions. You feel me? We want to bury the Bengals because, you know, they dropped 3 in a row, but we've been here. You feel me? About 2, 3, if not 4 years in a row with both of these teams. We've been here. We've seen. I'm not saying that it will happen again, but I am saying that we've already seen that they're more than capable of flipping the script for better or for worse. So that's the other thing, is we got to be patient, man. And the irony of me saying that is me sitting up here preaching patience. You feel me? There's a couple of teams that if they don't figure things out soon, you feel me, heads is going to roll this offseason. Specifically, the coaches' heads is going to roll. You know, and I'm speaking, I'm talking about them Eagles. For one, Nick is already on borrowed time. I feel like somebody, you know, got to pull him to the side. You know, Nick is coaching right now the way that Deshaun Watson is playing quarterback. In the sense, and I said this in the last video, in the sense that he's playing like a guy who's trying to prove. He's coaching like somebody trying to prove that he's worthy of. You know, he's coaching as though with the intent of proving his doubters wrong. You feel me? And you can't coach like that, man. If you can't play like that, then you most definitely can't coach like that. You understand what I'm saying? And you know, somebody I feel like got to pull Nick to the side and say, listen, do what you good at. You feel me? You in danger of losing the team. You feel me? By constantly interjecting yourself into places. This is what we hired Kellen Moore for. You feel me? This is not your job anymore. Your job, you feel me, is to make sure that this team is prepared to play, which you have not done. You have not done the past 4 weeks. Every week 1 through 4 of the season, this team has come out and looked like deer in headlights. And that's on you, boss. That's your fault. You understand what I'm saying? Doug Peterson is another one, man, who I think is going to be going. He talks like somebody who's already kind of checked out a little bit. I said that I don't know how, because they are 2-2 right now, but I personally feel like the best thing to happen, the best thing for Caleb, the best thing for the Bears is for Eberflus, you feel me, to go packing. You feel me? I don't know if it's not just a head coach thing, it's an organizational thing, but I keep coming back to Justin Fields. And okay, Justin Fields may not have all of a sudden blossomed into a top 10 quarterback, but he's at very least a serviceable starter. You feel me? You can win games with Justin Fields now. Whereas in Chicago, you feel me, he didn't even look like a functional NFL quarterback at times. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people, even as early as we are in the season, there's a lot of people who are on a short leash. Antonio Pierce, I feel like, is another one who's on a short leash, because he's in that vein of, you feel me, he's in that vein of Mike Tomlin, that vein of, Nick Sirianni, you feel me, where he's a CEO coach. You feel me? You give him the right coordinators, and his job, you feel me, is to manage the game and to make sure, his guys are prepared to play on Sunday. And Vegas doesn't look this year the way that they did the end of last year. You understand what I'm saying? So Antonio Pierce, as much of a fan of Antonio Pierce as I am, I think he's another one that's on a short leash. There's a couple of other guys that I could probably name off, but I'm not, because you feel me, I'm just about at my destination, and that's really all that I have for y'all. Is one, every quarterback is ass. It ain't just yours, it's all of ours. Two, you gotta have patience, you feel me, with your squad, especially if you're working with a young quarterback. Three, your coach might get fired in the offseason. So yeah, there you have it. Power rankings coming when I feel like. Deuces.